20 past 11. So then, when we're talking about money saving, which we are, we've talked about the supermarkets, it also applies to this.
I'm driving home for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait to see those faces.
Maybe you're driving home for Christmas this week, or maybe you've got family or friends driving home to you. Lovely to spend time with people who live further afield, of course. But like everything, there is a cost factor to this, especially when the journey is a long one. So, Money Saver Wednesday today. And we have motoring consumer champion Scott Dixon with us. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello. I have to say, I did used to drive home for Christmas, and it was a 200-mile journey from East Anglia back to where we are now. And it was really, I just put Christmas tunes on the whole way and was in such a good mood. It's a great feeling to drive home for Christmas.
Yeah, and I mean, what the RAC are saying this time round, with Christmas Day falling on a Monday, Friday is going to be the busiest day for travelling. And what's forecast is 2.2 million journeys are going to be made on Thursday, and on Friday 3.2 million journeys. And they're saying with Christmas Eve getaways matching those taken on Friday, 3.2 million. Friday's going to be the busiest day with leisure trips combined with commercial, commuter and school traffic. And they're estimating 21 million festive getaways this week. And Christmas Eve with 60% of these trips crammed into the last 3 days before Christmas Day.
Oh, wow. I think our travel news might get a little bit longer in length as we go through the week.
Yeah.
Listening to all that, gosh. Yeah, of course, so many people driving, crisscrossing the country for Christmas and driving home. But of course, it's the cost involved, especially if it's a long journey. And I've done a few long journeys recently. You just notice when you're at a motorway service station and the cost of fuel there is so much higher than if you got it in your local town or village or in your supermarket locally. I mean, that's one cost that people have really got to think about.
Yeah, that's the big one, and you have to shop around for cheaper fuel. And there is an app that you can download on your phone called Petrol Prices. So if you put that in as an app, or you can look on Google, and the prices can be up to 20p a litre cheaper. So with the average car fuel tank at 55 litres, you can easily save at least £6 a tank by shopping around. And motorway service stations charge much more than fuel stations nearby, and they've got a captive market, and they say higher overheads and things like that, but I think we all know that they just prey on the fact that people have to rely on that. But you can maybe take a 2-mile detour to the nearest town nearby. So, for example, if you're driving up north to Carlisle, there's a Tesco just off the M6 where you could save at least 20p a litre than using the motorway petrol stations.
It does give us a shock sometimes on these long journeys. I often end up stopping at Cawley services, M6 or some other services along the M6, and when I'm leaving, and I try to ensure I've got plenty of petrol, you know, when I leave where I'm driving from, enough to get to my destination, and you see these prices and you think, really? I'm really glad I've got a full tank of petrol here. But there's been the odd time when I've had to fill up, but you kind of say, right, I'm going to put enough in to get home of this very expensive petrol.
Yeah, and it's just planning ahead, really, and just make sure you leave with a full tank at the best price before you set off. And timings is important as well with your journeys. So what the RAC have seen is that the hot spots for Christmas Eve is 12 till 4. That's the worst time to travel. So they're saying if you travel before 11 o'clock, and what they're saying is before 11 and after 6 for the days leading up to Christmas. So personally, I would suggest driving during daylight hours, because it's easier to drive during daylight than it is at night, and it's easier to spot potholes as well, dare I say it, you know.
Yes, it is easier to spot potholes, absolutely, yeah. It's much more
pleasant, when they're filled
with
water. I mean, we've had a prolonged wet spell of weather, and spotting potholes at night is impossible when they're filled with water. So I would suggest driving during the day and just take your time, keep your eyes on the road, and try and travel outside of the peak times that the RAC forecast.
Yeah, that's really good. It's good to think about that. And yeah, you might want to just have a nice lie-in and leave about 10, 11 o'clock, but actually getting up a little bit earlier could make your journey much better. It's just adjusting things, isn't it?
That's right. Just planning ahead.
Yeah. And other things that can make a difference is maybe sharing lifts. And I think there are apps for this, aren't there, as well? If you're doing a long journey from one city to another, you may well be able to find someone to share a lift with.
Yeah, that's right. And, sharing the costs is a good way to split the costs of travelling and everything else. And, yeah, it's a good way to, just save money, really.
Yeah.
And also, preventative maintenance is important as well. I always say that if you look after your car, the car will look after you. So, just give your car a quick once over. And if it hasn't been serviced for a while, maybe find a garage that you know and trust and get it serviced before you do any long trips. Make sure that your coolant levels are right for the cold weather forecast, and your tyre pressures, just the basic checks, really.
Yeah.
So you can just plan ahead and have a safe journey.
Yeah, you've just reminded me of something, actually. I need to check the screen wash. That's one thing that is easily forgotten, isn't it? Until you're on that motorway and you keep using it, and then you think it's going to run out at some point.
Yeah, and that's one of the most popular MOT failures, is screen wash, and it's just an easy fix, isn't it?
Oh, it's really easy, isn't it? It's just remember, you think about it on the motorway, then you get home and then you think about other things and you forget about the screen wash. So, yeah, it's trying to remember those things. But it sounds like it's going to be, a pretty busy one this weekend. And, we'll catch up again in the new year, I think, Scott, and we'll chat through various other issues as we try and save everybody a little bit of money. So have a wonderful Christmas and a good new year.
Yeah,
we'll speak to you in 2024.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you very much, Scott Dixon there, motoring consumer champion. Just